I don't know. I'd say I'm reasonable.
Okay, that's completely unreasonable.
I'm reasonable.
I'm unreasonable.
You have no idea just how reasonable I have been.
Reasonable synonyms are sensible, rational, practical, fair, appropriate.
Fitting, suitable, logical.
All things I would definitely say describe me.
Do they describe you?
Welcome to I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson.
I'm reasonable.
What's up, everybody? What's up? So clearly, I'm not in my office. I'm on the road for a while at this point, and so we may see different backgrounds every week. Next week, I think I'll be back in my office. Whatever. Welcome to another episode of I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson. I am Zainab Johnson. Hi, you guys. Are we reasonable this week? Have we been reasonable? Are we being reasonable? Do we have intentions of staying reasonable? There's so much. I think this might be a long episode, so strap in. I think. On a scale from, let's keep it simple. On a scale from 1 to 100, how reasonable have you been this week? So like I said, this might be a doozy of an episode because we have a lot in What's Up with Z. But we're also going to talk some election updates because as of the release of this episode, we are 13 days away from Election Day in the United States for our presidential election. The New York Liberty, they won the 2024 WNBA championship, but there was like a call that the refs made that's heavily debated. The Liberty played the Lynx, and the Liberty won. And so we'll talk about that a little bit. We might even talk about the rising star Angel Reese's outfit choice for when she attended the final game. Maybe we'll get into that. We won't talk too much about this, but he's definitely been dominating the news cycle. Payne, who, I'm going to be very honest, you guys, I had no idea who that was. I'm so sorry to that man. I had no idea who he was. His death is why I know of him, but he is a part of the group, or he was a part of the group One Direction. He passed away last week, and I was actually doing a show last week at the Hollywood Improv, and another comedian by the name of Eric Griffin. We're all in a green room with some other comedians, and Eric is like, did you guys hear of Payne? No, he was like, it's such a shame what happened to Payne. And I was like, who is that? And everybody in the room was like, you don't know who? And then they start going down, and I'm like, the Jonas Brothers? And they were like, at first they was like, yeah, but then they was like, no. And then they was like, he was a part of a big group, like a super group, boy band, whatever. And I was like, so they spent so much time trying to let me know who he was. I think the point of the news got lost. So I was like, okay, Eric, what happened to him? And he was like, oh, sorry, he died. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry we took so long to get to that. But he has been dominating the news cycle. And I don't know, maybe in the last couple of days on the campaign, it's me thinking about Trump and campaign on the campaign trail. Maybe Kamala and Trump need to see who could get the best seats at Payne's funeral, because it's really dominating the news source. And I'm not making fun at all. Of course I'm not making fun. It's wild. Like, suicide isn't funny. Drug addiction isn't funny. Drug overdosing isn't funny. None of it is funny. Addiction isn't funny. Mental illness isn't funny. But is in every single day, it's dominating the news cycle. So if you're listening to this and you are struggling with any sort of addiction, any sort of mental illness, any sort of suicidal thoughts, or you know somebody that is, please seek help, please. And are we going to talk about the Diddy stuff. We're not really going to talk about like Diddy stuff, although we know that there's people making accusations and alleging things and filing new suits and having different press conferences every single day. And as you know, as it relates to Diddy's entire situation. But I was discussing I was watching The Lincoln Lawyer, and they were having a conversation on that show. Like the characters were having a conversation that reminded me of many conversations that I have had with people in my life as it relates to Diddy, as it relates to a bunch of legal things. Actually had the conversation. We'll get into it. We'll get into that. You see, I'm still in the topics of what we're going to talk about. And is that it? Oh, and then lastly, we are going to talk about this viral video that, I mean, it's boiling my blood. I'm sure everybody has seen it. If you haven't seen it, it is the video that's going viral where the woman was driving and then these drivers basically faked a rear end collision, but she caught it all on her dash cam. So we're going to talk about that. And in the Ask Z, I actually have an Ask Z for you guys. But before we get into all that, of course, we got to talk about my shows. This past weekend, I was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at the Punchline. Thank you. Thank you, everybody that showed up. I just love the love that Philly showed me. Thank you so much for showing up. I had really fun. I had like a bunch of fun on stage with you guys. So thank you. Next up. This weekend, I will be in Detroit. This coming weekend, I will be in Detroit at the House of Comedy in Detroit. 1 show Friday night, 2 shows Saturday night. So make sure you guys get those tickets. Then November 1st and 2nd, I will be in Denver, Colorado at Comedy Works in Denver. Those shows is 4 shows. It's a showcase show, so I'm on the show with other comedians, and I believe that it is sponsored by Rocket Mortgage. I believe so. If you go to the website, if you go to Comedy Works website, and you see that versus a picture of my face, like that's why. So November 1st and 2nd, Denver, Colorado. November 8th and 9th, St. Paul, Minnesota. November 11th, Amsterdam. The European leg is right around the corner. November 11th, I'm in Amsterdam. November 14th, I'm in Geneva. November 15th and 16th, I'm in Paris. I found out there's like very few tickets left for the late shows in Paris. The early shows are sold out, but we've known that for weeks at this point. November 18th through the 23rd, I will be in London. There's only a few tickets left for those shows. November 18th through the 23rd, I will be in London at the Soho Theater. And then November 29th through December 1st, I will be in Ontario, California. Ontario, California. November 29th through December 1st at the Ontario Improv. Then December 4th, I will be in Austin, Texas. And then December 6th through the 8th, I will be in Houston, Texas. December 31st, I will be in San Jose. So New Year's Eve, if you're in the Bay, you could come spend it with me. I'll be at the San Jose Improv. Then in 2025, January 3rd and 4th, I will be in Seattle. Those tickets are not on sale yet, but January 3rd and 4th, save the date because I will be in Seattle, Washington. January 9th, for one night only, I will be in Raleigh, North Carolina. At Good Nights Comedy Club in Raleigh, North Carolina. That's January 9th. January 16th through the 18th, I will be in Washington, D.C. at the D.C. Comedy Loft. December. What am I talking about, y'all? January 16th through the 18th, I will be in Washington, D.C. February 21st through the 23rd, I will be in Chicago, Illinois. That's February 21st through the 23rd. April 11th and 12th, I will be in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, April 11th and 12th. And I have added dates. Like I think we added Baltimore, we added New York. Those dates are not, they're being added, but they're not official yet. But just know we're adding, like there's a Maine date. I think I have Maine, maybe Massachusetts, New York, Baltimore, a bunch of cities being added. So just stay tuned. There's a bunch more cities to come in 2025. Okay. If you want to get any of those tickets to my shows, just click the link in the details of this podcast. Also, you can always watch my 1 hour special on Amazon Prime, which is called Hijabs Off. The link is in the details of this podcast. And right here on YouTube, you can watch the crowd work show that I did. It's called The Notebook. If you watch it, you know why. And the link is in the details of this podcast too. If you subscribe already, you've probably seen it. If you subscribe and you haven't seen it, go watch it. If you're new, this is your first time seeing me, hearing of me, whatever. Peruse the page. Peruse it, okay? Y'all see, I got this wig looking natural, okay? I got this wig looking like it's coming out her head. Anyway, while I have you guys, like, share, and hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way. It goes a long way. I appreciate it. All right. What's up with Z? All right. Where should I start? So last week I flew to Philadelphia because I had shows. I flew from LA to Philly on a red-eye flight. And I flew on United, which in my opinion is just a more expensive version of Spirit. Listen, I know so many people, lovely people very close to me, people who are fans, people who are happily employed by United. But let me just tell you, of the 3 top American airlines, Delta, American, and United is definitely on the bottom. And if I didn't have to fly United to a city, like to cities that only United really caters to, So I'm on this flight from LA to Philly. I'm on a flight from LA to DC because there's I don't know why. It was a connection flight. So I had to go to DC and then connect in DC and then fly to Philly, right? And it's a 6-hour flight from LA to DC. And first of all, I'm walking through first class. I was not in first class. I don't know what was up with my flight to Philly. I'm going to be very honest with you because even when I got on, I was like, wait, what? How did this happen? How did I get on United? And how am I in 23C, you guys? I was in 23C. And I think I was in 23C because my friend helped me. I think I might have been in 722F. And then my friend put me in 23C. I think that's how that happened. None of which is ideal, right? I mean, thank you to my friend, but I noticed as I'm passing through first class, I noticed they ain't have no lie back seats. I'm like, a 6-hour flight and y'all not offering lie back seats, but whatever, this ain't my issue. Let me take my behind to my 23 seat row, right? My row 23 seat. But then I noticed that there were these 2 women traveling together, right? And this happens all the time, right? Sometimes you travel together, but you guys are not seated together. And so if you really want to sit next to your friend, you have to, work up the nerve to ask a person that is sitting next to one of you if they're willing to switch seats, right? So her friend is already seated. She's seated in the row right next to me. She's not seated in my row, but okay, there's the middle, and then she's seated in the same 23, but like DEF or whatever, right? And she's seated on like the aisle, right? And her friend is making her way to a seat a little bit further in the back, not a lot, maybe 1 or 2, maybe like in row 25, right? So the guy who is in 25 on the aisle, she's like, basically she wants the guy to switch seats with her friend, right? She wants him to switch his 25 aisle seat to the friend's 23 aisle seat so that they can sit together. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I think there's nothing to be talked about there, right? It was the way she did it though. So she goes to the guy and she says, hey, my friend is sitting she's sitting in a seat on the edge. These are the reason why I keep looking at my notes is because I wrote down exactly what she said, because the scenario is not really a big deal, but it's the way she did it and the way the words that she used that made it so noticeable. So she says to the guy, she says, "My friend is sitting in the seat on the edge. Would you like to switch?" He says, "Huh?" Because I would have said, "Huh," too. Because you've given me no information really. My friend is sitting in a seat on the edge. What's the edge? What's the seat? It's the whole point that we have row numbers and letters and seat letters. A seat on the edge, that could be anywhere. I need you to be more specific. He says, "Huh?" Now here's the thing, and I'm being completely objective. He don't say "huh" like "huh." He said "huh" like genuine confusion. He was like, "Huh?" Even I was like, huh. Now the reason why I wasn't thinking "huh" because I know I see the friend is right there, so I know exactly where the friend is. But I could hear that he don't know where the friend is, right? Because he wasn't paying attention. He don't know that they together. The first that he knows of anything is when she says, "Hey, my friend is sitting on the seat in the edge." Then she says, "Would you like to switch?" No, he didn't say no, but I remember I was sitting in a seat. This is some years ago. I was sitting in a seat on a plane and nobody was sitting in a row of 3. Nobody was sitting next to me. And I laid down. By the time the plane took off, I laid down, made it a bed, right? And at some point in the flight, I guess it was really crowded in the back. At some point in the flight, this girl came to my seat, came to my row and was like, "Hey, do you mind if I sit here?" And I said, "Yeah, I do mind." Her feelings were hurt. And I said, "But you could sit here." Because I feel like she should have said, "Hi, can I sit here?" I feel like she should have said, "Hi, it's so crowded in the back and this row is open. I'm sorry to wake you up, but can I sit in this seat?" Because I genuinely answered your question. Do you mind? I do actually mind. But me minding and you having permission are two very different things. So sometimes people put the courtesy on you, and it's like, I don't want to be courteous. On this podcast, it's called I'm Reasonable, and every week I'm asking y'all to be reasonable. That day I probably wasn't very reasonable. The girl's feelings were genuinely hurt. And I let her sit down, and then I looked at her and I said, "Next time, if you want," I said, I ain't trying to hurt your feelings. And here's the thing. I'm saying, girl, we were the same age. She might have been older than me at the time. And she was a professional woman. And I said, and as much as I said, I do mind, it wasn't with an attitude. It was just like, yeah, you asked me a question and I answered honestly. "Do you mind?" "Yeah, I'm laying down. I was fast asleep. And you woke me up and asked me if I mind." "I do. Very much so, mind." But that's not really what you want to know. You don't want to know if I mind. You want to know if you could sit here. So ask that. I said, "Listen, you asked me a question and I answered the question." I said, "But I could see it hurt your feelings." I said, "I was going to let you sit here regardless, but I do want you to know, yeah, I mind. So maybe next time, be more assertive. Maybe don't ask, do I mind? Maybe just say, excuse me, this is the situation and I'd like to sit here. Do you know, can you move your feet?" And I understand the politeness of like, do you mind? They like to make people think that they got a choice. They got a choice in the matter. But if you give me a choice, I'm going to take the choice that serves me. Anywho, she says, I admit I probably wasn't being very reasonable that day. I mean, I was, but I was also probably being too honest because I let her sit down, but I also let her know how I feel. Okay, so she says, "Would you like to switch?" He says, "Huh." So then she points to the seat. She points to the seat where her friend is sitting, which, as I said, is 2 rows ahead of him, right? And then she says to him, it's basically the same seat. So then when he realizes where the seat is, when he realizes what's going on, because she ain't give him no information, he says, "Oh, sure, I could do that. Like, sure, I don't mind at all, you know?" But you can tell, like, as much as he didn't mind doing it, like he didn't mind moving, you know, when you in the middle of the plane, what people on planes do is they be on your hip. So Sometimes when I'm getting on the plane, sometimes even when I'm in first class, I may be in row 2, but I may have to put my luggage in the overhead in row 4 because row 2 is already filled up. But people be so on your ass on a plane that when you finish putting your bag in row 4, you can't even get back to row 2 or wherever your seat is because they right up on you. I can't remember what flight I was on recently, and I had to tell the man he was up on me from the moment we on the jet bridge. So then finally, when we get onto the plane, and I'm like in one of the first row, I'm like in row 3 or something like that, and I'm putting my thing up, and I say, yo, you got to step back. He said, oh, I'm sorry. I said, yeah, you gotta. I had to like push him, and I said, I had to use my arm like to create the distance. Like you gotta. You up on me. Thank God I got this little roller bag. If not, I might have a case for sexual assault because you up on me, sir. And I don't. Sometimes people be doing things intentionally and they play dumb, but sometimes they just really be unaware. They just really be out in this world just ass backwards. I can't even tell with him. I don't know if he just was playing dumb. He kind of remind me of my friend who's like, who's an immigrant, and as much as he been in this country for a while, it's still a certain part of him that just be like, I don't quite know. Like I know I'm talking English, but it's not my first language, so there may be a moment that we don't understand each other. You know what I'm saying? Like he seemed like that, but he also could have been playing stupid. Anywho, so as much as the guy is, says that he is going to move and switch seats with the friend, he got to wait because people ain't making it easy to like backtrack. Right. So then when it all happens, so when he says yes to the woman who asked him, when he says yes to her, she says, great. And that was it. And I couldn't believe it. She didn't say, thank you. She didn't no. I couldn't believe it. And listen, I ain't turn my head or say nothing. I'm just ear hustling because it ain't none of my business. And if she wasn't very gracious to somebody that's being kind to her, I don't know what she would have did if I turned around looking like I was in her business. I like to avoid situations like that. But I couldn't believe it. She was like, great. I said, ooh, she is bold. I couldn't believe that she didn't say thank you or I appreciate it. And I'm not saying bow down. I'm not saying be forever indebted to somebody, but I don't know what y'all think. Maybe y'all think I should turn around, mind my business, which I did. Y'all think that she was wild for not saying thank you? Do you think that like great is a sufficient way to cap that interaction? Let me know. What other thing and what's up with Z? It's a couple of things, y'all. This is a hefty what's up with Z. So last week before I flew to Philly, maybe I should have put this in chronological order. Before I flew to Philly, the actual morning before I flew to Philly, I decided to take a ride in a Waymo vehicle. If you don't know what a Waymo vehicle, they are driverless cars. It's driverless cars. The company is called Waymo, and the cars that they use are Jaguars. If you've seen them, they're really, really popular in the Bay Area. They're coming to probably other cities. They're in Los Angeles a bit, but there's like a wait list, right? So I get in this car. I'm going about 6 miles. It's a 26-minute drive. I'm going from Beverly Hills to my house. And I was a bit nervous at first. In the same way that I was a little bit nervous the first time I took an Uber or a Lyft, getting into a car with a complete stranger and trusting that everything is going to be above board. They're going to take you where you need to go, and it's all going to be copacetic, that they're not on drugs, that they're not murderers, that they're not alcoholics, that they actually know how to drive, that this is their vehicle, that they're insured, that they actually work for the company, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, there's like a couple of nerves involved, but now what? 9 years later or something like that, it's a no-brainer. We all in Ubers and Lyfts. right? We all doing the very thing that our parents told us never to do, get in a car with a stranger. So I get in this Waymo ride and I post it. I share a lot with my, audience. I share what I think is kind of like cool, and I share like what I think are like interesting experiences, or sometimes like my first, right? Or sometimes I'll just be letting y'all in my business because I know y'all be wanting to be in my business. So I share this Waymo ride via my Instagram stories, and I got so many messages of just riddled in fear, which really just equates to negativity. And not just, here's the thing, I get expressing like a genuine fear, right? Like, yo, I don't know if I could have ever did that. I'm too scared. Like, what if something happened to, but it's like everybody was putting a fear on me. Like, how could you do that? No, you ain't trying. Oh, you trying to die. You trying to, you wanted to, okay, now you in LA. Oh, you truly Hollywood now. You just trusting nobody to be in a car. Wait a minute. If y'all want me to stop sharing, that's how you respond. If you put all of that negativity on me, I can't take it. So my only remedy for that is I can't tell you nothing. Because I can't, if all you're going to do is put I love genuine curiosity. Like, how did it feel? So take us through like what I love that. But like, oh, no, you trying to, oh yeah, no. See, that's why I can't never, that's why y'all in Hollywood, y'all trying to be in a few too. So a good amount of people was like, yo, it's the real live upload. Like people who watch upload was like, it's the real live upload, right? And I'm like, yeah, how, I don't know, serendipitous is this, that I just wrapped on a series that, basically the start of the series was a driverless car accident. It was actually, if you watch the show, spoiler alert, you know what I'm saying? It actually wasn't an accident. It was very much planned. It was very much orchestrated. And here I am, 6 years after we shot the pilot episode, and I'm riding casually in a driverless car. Like, yeah, well, I welcome the curiosity. I even welcome the nerves. But like to be like, oh, nah, you stupid. If you feel that way, then take out a life insurance policy on me. So just to let you guys know, this is how the Waymo ride went. So just like Uber or Lyft, I called the ride on my phone, and you can do a lot of prompts on your phone before the ride comes, right? So first of all, it's only available to certain areas. So where I live is right on the edge. Like I tried to get a ride from my house to the airport. It does not go to the airport. It doesn't go to a lot of it goes to like central, like proper LA. That's it. And so I live on like right before Waymo is like, we don't go there. That's where I live. And so you can do a lot of prompts before you call a car. You can tell it what language, you can tell it the temperature that you want the car. You can choose what radio station. You can add however many stops is going to be in a ride. Like you can run your errands in Waymo. It can stop multiple places, and then it's going to let you know exactly where it's picking you up, right? Now, I noticed it was picking me up at a business, right? That business had a driveway. So you know how an Uber driver or Lyft driver is probably not going to pull into the driveway. They just probably going to pull up to the address. Waymo, so it's not even going to allow you to get into the car until it is at the exact location that it's saying it's going to pick you up. So we had to drive all the way up into up the driveway, up to the back of the business before it stopped. Then once it stops, I have to accept the ride. I have to say, like, the car is here. Once I accept the ride, then it unlocks. Like, the handles in the door kind of, automatically open up to you. You open up the car, you get in. You have to sit in the seat that you choose. You got to choose before you get in the Waymo, like what seat you going to sit in. Because it wants to know, and you can't, they tell you before you get in, every seat is available to you except the driver's seat. You cannot get in the driver's seat. Once you get in your seat, you put on your seatbelt. The car is talking. It's telling you, you know, all the stuff that you could do. It's telling you where it's going, all of that stuff. As soon as you get in, like my name is Z, so it's gonna say like, "Hey Z, well, you know, thanks for taking a ride." It's gonna talk to you like it's gonna talk to you like AI talks to you. And then from there, I sat back and relaxed. The temperature was fine. The ride was fine. I had a little bit of an incident. As we're driving, another car tried to cut through cut out of a parking lot and like cut through an intersection, right? And so in the Waymo, reacted immediately. Hit them brakes, swerved, did it all, avoided a collision immediately. That same thing would have happened if there was a driver in that car, because it had nothing to do with our vehicle. It had everything to do with the other vehicle. And all we could do, whether you're a driver or a robot, is avoid that other car. And when it avoided it, I said, "Okay, Waymo. All right." And then we proceeded to drive. It drove very safe. So it's never going to merge last minute. It's never going to like be switching a bunch of lanes like how drivers do, you know? It's not going to do that. It has a planned route and it's going to take that route. And it was a pretty relaxing ride. And then it pulls up to my house. I made sure that I had everything in the car. You know, I made sure I got everything out the car. It waited a moment. As I got out, then it locked. And then, you know, you have to confirm that the ride has ended. It waits just a moment. And then it pulls off. And that was that. That was that. That was my Waymo drive. So if Waymo comes to your city, are you taking Waymo? Let me know in the comments. If you were at my last show on Saturday in Philly, you know this. Somebody fainted at the show. Somebody fainted at the show. A woman fainted at the show. I had 4 shows in Philly. I had 2 shows on Friday, 2 shows on Saturday. This was the Saturday night late show. You should know that this is the 3rd time in the past 4 or 5 months that I've had an incident at my show. The first time, I think I told you guys about it, was in Virginia. I believe a woman had a stroke at my show. It wasn't when I was on stage. It was my feature act was on stage and she was convulsing in the audience. She was way in the back of the room. And then when the stretchers came, when they took her out to the kind of like bar area lobby of the club, the EMTs came. They made the club managers aware that she was in fact having a stroke. I don't know. I hope that woman is okay. I'm not sure. Then when I was in Bloomington, Indiana, I feel like I told you guys about this. There was a couple and she did not pass out. You know, when I got on stage, she was like this. So I thought she was asleep. And then she came to and was having a hard time. And I thought they were just being disruptive. And then the husband was like, no, she has a medical issue. And she had to be escorted out of the show. She had to be carried out of the show. This past weekend in Philly, this was a legit faint. This woman and her sister, they were, I'm not saying names, although I know her name, were sitting first row, dead center. So I think I noticed her faint before most people in the room because I'm standing right there delivering the material. And then she just collapses. She just falls over. And the punchline in Philly, it has concrete floors. It's kind of like a concert venue. And so it has concrete floors. So she fell and her head hit the floor. Now there's no blood, there's no liquid, there's no fluid, but there is a huge knot on her head the size of a tennis ball and she is out. So, you know, there's like, the good thing about it is it happened right at the front of the stage so I could see everything. If it happens in the back, there's like a commotion and like sometimes we don't know what's going on, right? I can't tell how severe it is or not. I can't, you know, but we turned on the house lights immediately. The punchline, because it's a concert venue, they always have a medic on site. And so we had a medic. Thank God, y'all. I love that my audience is a very, I love that my audience tends to err on the upwardly mobile, the very smart and capable, because we had a doctor in the building. We had a doctor in the building who came to the woman's aid. It was pretty funny. Maybe I'll release the tape. Not her faint, but my commentary after it all happened. But we had a doctor tend to her until the actual EMTs showed up. And I was asking the people in the audience, I'm like, does it take a long time? In certain cities, they be like, you call the cops, you call the ambulance, they take hours to show up. And so I was like, is this one of those cities? And the people in the audience was like, it can be like that. Thank God it wasn't like that. Thank God we had a doctor at the show that tended to her. And she was out for a little while, which is so scary to watch. And then they turned her on her side. And when she got a little bit of consciousness, they asked her a few questions and they turned her on her side, and then she started vomiting. And then after that, she kind of came to a bit more, and she was apologizing. She kept apologizing and she kept trying to get up. And I really do understand the embarrassment of it all, but I really want to commend my crowd, because that took maybe like 20 minutes. The lights were up. We were all sitting there. It wasn't a moment where I could joke through what's happening. This was like, no, this is a medical emergency and all of our attention needs to go here. It was people in the room praying for her. But it's like 20 minutes. Legit. I'm not exaggerating, you guys. It wasn't like 2 minutes feel like 10. No, it was a legit 20 minutes. To the point where the manager was like, do you want to continue the show, or would you like us to tell them, we're so sorry about the inconvenience, but we're going to end the show here. I said, there's no way I'm ending this show. There's no way. If now I feel like I got to perform more than ever. I feel like I got to give them the show that they came to see. And it's not about, do I want to end the show? It's about, do they want to stay and see a show? That's what we need to ask. Do they still feel like they're in the mood to laugh at some shit, to joke on some shit after we just experienced a medical emergency for 20 minutes? And they did, because my crowds are dope. And we had a good time. And I feel like in the room we were very empathetic for the most part and nobody knows. That's the thing about fainting. I told the audience about when I had fainted at the Magic Castle. And I told the audience that story. And it's like, it's a scary thing. It's a scary thing. Thank God she was with either a really close friend or her sister. And she was really apologetic. Like, they thought they had hurt my show. But it's like, no, you can't. Don't apologize. You having a heart attack. You fainted. You having don't ever apologize for that. Don't. Anywho, she messaged me, the woman who fainted. She messaged me the next morning and apologizing again and telling me that she was just about to be discharged from the hospital and that she's better, she's okay. And that made me feel better. And I was like, you do not have to apologize. And I told her, I was like, just so you know, I was like, I understand the embarrassment of it all. I thank you so much for coming to my show. I'm sorry that happened. But also just know that the audience was completely empathetic. The audience was there with you. The audience was there in support of you, concerned for you. And so I'm sharing this story to let anybody know that was there, that I did speak to her via IG message. And she said that she was okay. Now, another PSA. I know that sometimes things trigger us and sometimes things happen and we have no control. It come out of nowhere. When I fainted at the Magic Castle, it was the id. And so I might have been doing too much. I might have thought like, okay, well, yeah, I fasted for 30 days, but today I'm not fasting. Today I ate something, but I may have only eaten a tiny bit. And so now it's midnight and I'm jumping up in the air clapping. Yeah, maybe I didn't quite have the energy. I'm already anemic. Maybe I didn't have the energy. Maybe I was dehydrated. I'm already anemic. My iron is low. And I'm jumping up at midnight after fasting for 30 days, basically in the summertime. So my fast be like 17 hours. Yeah, you're going to pass out. So when I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, I probably was doing too much. As much as it was the id and I was trying to be celebratory, I probably was doing too much. So some things do come out of nowhere, but then there are some things that we are aware of, and we know the things that we have to cut back on. We know the adjustments that we need to make. So just take that really seriously. My friend always be talking about her perimenopause journeys, and she always says, you know, and I know it be acting up the more not even para. Another friend of mine is in full menopause. Full menopause. She's like in her 50s, I think. She's in full menopause. And she be like, it be acting up. It always acts, it goes crazy when I eat sugar. As she's sitting there eating a piece of cake. So then when it go crazy, you can't be like, I don't know why it's going crazy. You know what I'm saying? So just make sure, like, if you have certain things happening in your life as it relates to your health, and there are certain things that you have to adjust, even if you out having a good time, like, just make sure, you know what I'm saying? If you wear your Apple Watches, this is not a commercial. Wear your, monitor your heartbeat, your pulses, all of that stuff. Stay hydrated. We already know a bunch of the stuff that's in our food and in our environment is slowly killing us. So we have to be, I'm so sorry, you guys. I feel like I'm on a soapbox, but I also feel like I have to say this. Take care of yourselves. Okay? Take care of yourselves. For me, it's not, you listen, if people keep passing out at my show, I'm going to just call this the faint. I'm going to just call this. I'm so funny. You know what I'm saying? Killing, literally. That's what I'm going to call it. That's what I'm going to call the tour. Okay? But really, just human to human, I want y'all to be in the best health you can be in. So take care of yourselves. Let's get into the main topics. First thing. So as I said, this is like, okay, so as I said, as it relates to like the Diddy of it all, right? I was watching Lincoln Lawyer, and basically on the new season of Lincoln Lawyer, a really bad man was framed, right? He's a criminal. He's guilty for a lot of stuff, but this particular crime he did not do, but they framed him for it. Spoiler alert. But they framed him for it. And so he went down for it. Right. And the defense attorney was like, if you're going to, this is exactly what a defense attorney said on the show. If you're going to spend the rest of your life in jail, it should be for a crime you committed. Then the driver was like, but in this case, does it matter? The reason why that stood out to me is because I have had conversations like this when there's any celebrity cases where people feel railroaded or don't trust the law, right? So like I remember doing a podcast with my friend Keith Robinson. We were doing my friend Marina's podcast, Friends Like Us. And this was at the very beginning of, this is like Diddy first day. This is like Freak Off's first day. This is when they just raided the house. That's it, right? And my friend Keith was like, we started talking about a lot. We started talking about Cosby. We started talking about Weinstein. We started talking about all of these cases. And he was like, yeah, but they said he did this, but he only did this. And I was like they said he did 25 rapes, but he only did 4. And I was like, but 4 rapes is enough. For me, 1 intentional rape is enough. I may have a little bit of grace if there's some way to prove that there was a sexual assault, but that wasn't the intention. Things happen. or maybe there was even statutory where it's like these kids are in love, but he's 17 and she's 16. Stuff like that, I could give a little bit of grace. I could give a little bit of grace of like, I didn't know that she did. I didn't know that one time. But blatant, malicious rape, whether it be by way of a pill, whether it be by way of getting somebody drunk, whether it be by way of, dragging you down in the back alley. However aggressive or not, however devious or not, however heinous or not it is, your intentions are to rape. 1 is enough for me. 4 is enough for me. So I don't care. I don't care if you got for 25. I don't care. Because 4 is enough. But a lot of people are like, well, yeah, I only want to go to jail for the crimes I committed. All right. But I get that. But if you didn't go to jail for them other 8 crimes you committed. So if you got to go to jail for these 2 crimes and one of them you didn't commit, well, I mean, if we just doing the math, you didn't go to jail for them 8 crimes. So for me, I feel like in the case of this Lincoln Lawyer episode, I feel like I agree with the driver. This guy is a really bad guy. Of course, in the eyes of the law, you got to prove every crime separately, right? And so I get logistically, like, oh, okay, well, they were able to prove that he was set up for that crime, so they're going to let him out. But it wasn't bad that he was in jail. He's a terrible man. He's a terrible man, and therefore the public isn't safe. When he's not in jail, the public is at risk. So if he's in jail for something that he didn't do, although all the things that he did do, which are severely more heinous than this thing, he never got caught for. I don't mind him being in jail. That's me. What y'all think? Next. Let's go ahead and watch this play from the New York Liberty. Okay, so you guys just saw the play. It doesn't look like a foul, but that's the thing about sports, right? They're referees, and referees are like human beings. And I won't even go into the rigged of it all. I don't know, but there's a thing called people make mistakes. There's errors. You get what I'm saying? And that's just part of the game. And I'm not saying that when the NBA first started, I was a New York Liberty fan by way of, I remember Teresa Witherspoon, by way of, I was a New Yorker. I was a New York girl in high school playing basketball in New York City. And so I was definitely a fan of the Liberty. I'm not a fan of anybody now. I love the success of all the players, and I love definitely how this year has been a very visible year for the WNBA in particular. But this is sports. That margin of error, this is sports. The part of me is like, all right, well, the 2 free throws didn't win the game. The 2 free throws tied the game. And then y'all get to play. Y'all get to just start over, essentially, for whatever overtime is. What's overtime, like 3 minutes, 5 minutes? I don't know. But now it's a whole new game. So it's like the best out of this wins, because it's like we start from 0 at this point. Now I don't know. I guess I would have been a little bit more appalled if it were, it's like, yeah, they could have caught the travel. I'm gonna be very honest with you. If I was a player and I was guarding her when she went up for that shot, I would have fell. Even if she actually didn't charge me, because that's the thing about taking a charge. You just got to make it look like a charge. So I'd have fell back. As soon as she charged, I would have fell back. and hope that they called an offensive foul versus a defensive foul. Anywho, who knows? But there's a certain, I think that there's like a certain margin of error. But here's the thing that got me actually when I was investigating this. I am not a journalist. So the Lynx coach did like a press conference.
I thought today was incredibly disappointing. The challenge, we have got to change our challenge rules, and the officials doing the game should have a third party, because that was not a foul. That call should have been reversed on that challenge. If we sent that clip in, well, first of all, Nafisa Collier, the number of times that she's held, et cetera, and there's nothing down that end, right? Which it's kind of, for whatever reason in the series, that was kind of the way it was. But when at the other end, when we challenged it, if we would have turned that clip in, they would have told us that it was marginal contact, no foul. Guaranteed. So when you review, those should be the same parameters that you're reviewing with. But the three people that are on the game need a third party to let them know, because that decided the game. Coach. And I know all the headlines will be Reeve cries foul. Bring it on, right? Bring it on, because this shit was stolen from us. Bring it on.
Coach, when you make a comment like that, what do you say to your ladies on the team about how to process this?
Well, we talked about it, we know we could have done some things, right? But you shouldn't have to overcome to that extent. This shit ain't that hard. Officiating it's not that hard. When someone is being held, be consistent. If you don't want to hold it one, then don't call it the other. Be consistent. Every team asked for that, right? Sandy asked for that last game. So 3 of the games in the series, we're talking about the same damn thing, right? So I tell these guys, for whatever reason it didn't work out, right? It just doesn't feel right that you lose a series with that level of discrepancy, and we don't have a team that whines and complains and all that stuff, and sometimes it probably hurts us. Maybe being a little more, I don't know, something. But I just think that you have a star player like Fee. I don't get it. I don't get how she can be held and go to the basket and get hit, and then a marginal, at best, sends their best player to the free throw line. That's tough. It's tough to swallow. Just like our 2016 championship. That was lost, officiating, missing a shot clock violation. This sucks. This is for a championship, right? For both teams, let them decide it. What contact is legal should be the same for both teams. This isn't that hard, and so it's disappointing. Congratulations to the Liberty on their first championship. Been around, I don't know, how long has the league been around? 28 years. It took them 28 years. Congrats to them. We were that close to our 5th. Just didn't happen, right? It's disappointing.
Let me tell you what. All you got to do is let somebody talk long enough where they facts turn into pettiness real quick. You can be reasonable for a little while, and then if the pettiness is going to show up. So what she's saying, it's like, whether you agree with it or not, it makes sense, right? It's like, listen, I feel like, and most people will look at that call and see that she wasn't foul. Not only was she not foul, not only was it a marginal point of contact at best, which is what the Lynx coach is saying, Cheryl Reeve is saying, but the refs weren't showing us that same love. Like, my star player is getting hit, getting beat up, and they not calling the fouls for her. But when their star player gets even just a little light tap, they call in a foul. This is unfair. So I'm saying, so she's proposing we got to bring in a third party. Now, there's already 3 refs on the court. Now, here's the thing. What happens when you bring in a third party and the third party looks at it and it's like, no, I agree with what the refs say. Now what you going to say? That's why I'm saying it's like, yeah, this is, you live to play another championship. Next year, you got a whole nother season. And my basketball days, you guys are so far behind me. But I do remember when I did play basketball, I do remember showing up to games knowing when we had the refs that really knew how to make calls, refs that were completely fair regardless of whose turf you were playing on, regardless if you were the home or away team. You knew you were much more confident in that game when you knew you were playing with refs that were not fair just to you, but refs that were overall fair, refs that were getting their asses up and down that court and in the plays with you to make sure that they see every little bit of contact, et cetera, right? But it's still the third party. It's still a human being that just gets to weigh in and make a decision. And the decision that was made, unfortunately, is this is a foul. She went to the free throw line. She made 2 shots. Listen, she hit them shots in the clutch. That's what makes a great player. Best believe if that was Shaq, not that Shaq is not a great player, but best believe if that was Shaq on that free throw line, game would not have been into overtime. Unless Kobe Bryant, so unless he missed it, it went into Kobe's hand, and then Kobe somehow miraculously got the shot in less than 2 seconds, less than 0.2 seconds on the game. But okay, she made the free throws. And now it's 0-0. Now we starting over. Now we in overtime. It's a whole new game. We all tired. Now the only thing that sucks is in overtime, you don't get more fouls. You don't get to add more. You know what I'm saying? If you already got 4 fouls, if you already got a penalty, if you already got a tech, like you don't get more of those. Like you don't get more shit in the thing. You just get more time to play the game. But here's where she get petty. Here's where you got to throw her whole statement away, in my opinion. Sometimes when you reasonable and then you get unreasonable, when you get unreasonable, it toss all the reason you had, it toss it right out the window. This hoodie keep choking me. So she said, congratulations to the Liberty. They won their first championship. Well, in 26 years, it took them 26 years to get their first championship. Congratulations to them. Their first championship in franchise history. I mean, this was going to be our 5th. All right. Well, all right. Now we can't even feel bad for you no more. If she would have just left it sucks. It sucks. My girls worked hard, and that's a shitty call, and it's not the right call, and it was robbed. And now we like, oh, yeah, that's not cool. But then when you be like, congratulations to them. What, it took them 26 years in their entire franchise history to get something? Well, really quick, Angel Reese, who does not play for the Lynx or the Liberty. She wore like a halter top kind of jersey. You could tell like it was designed for her to wear. Like this was very intentional, and it had both teams. It had half of it was the Lynx and half of it was Liberty. And some people, not a lot of people, but I did hear chatter online. I did see chatter online rather. People was like, why don't you just wear regular clothes or wear your team? Like you don't play for either of those teams. Like what are you trying to do? And I actually thought it was really cute. I thought it was cute. I didn't think it was actually cute. Like I didn't like the design of it. Here, I'll show y'all. Yeah, I didn't love the design of it, but she's like a young, cute, hot athlete. But what I do appreciate about it is Angel Reese is one of the most popular WNBA players right now, if not the most popular, like aesthetically, right? Like so. There's her rival, like the people, the narrative being created, her rival, Caitlin Clark, right? But I'm gonna be very honest with you. It might just be because I'm a black woman. It might just be that. So I'm taking full responsibility for that. If Caitlin Clark walked into my sister's house right now, I would not know. She'd have to be wearing her jersey and it'd have to say Clark on the last name. She'd have to have a basketball in her hand with her high tops on for me to be like, oh, shoot. She'd have to turn around. Because, see, we also around Halloween. So I would be like, I would ask my sister, who's your neighbor coming in with a basketball jersey? And then she would turn around and it would say Clark. And I would be like, oh, wait, are you Caitlin Clark? It would take me a couple of seconds. But if I was walking down the street in New York, if I was walking down the street in any city in the world and I saw Angel Reese, I would know that was Angel Reese. As long as if she looked like what she looked like in all these pictures and videos I see, I would know that that's Angel Reese. I might only know that because I'm black. So I'm sorry. And I know that there are other very popular and also attractive, like stunningly attractive WNBA players. However, this girl, there's a whole big thing with this whole Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark controversy. It's all this talk about them changing all of this. It's nonstop. She's on a podcast with other people. Are you trying to tiptoe? She's on a podcast with all these other people, that we know that are very popular in the zeitgeist. Megan Thee Stallion, did she know? Did we know? So it's no coincidence that she was also photographed it's no coincidence that as much as she's not playing, that she's still getting publicity at the game. So what's wrong with one of the youngest and most popular and most talked about players right now being at the game, supporting both, instead of just sitting there, what? Promoting a brand that most of her fans may not even be able to afford. Instead of doing that, why not be there in solidarity of the league and her other peers? As much as they're not on her team, she's still there supporting them. Yeah, I'm here. I know the camera's gonna be on me. I know the camera's gonna be on me. So, and to not stir up any controversy if I'm sitting there with a Liberty jersey on, or I'm sitting there. You see in the video with the conspiracy with the then they pointed to the commissioner like, oh, and she got the Empire State Building on her dress. So I didn't see anything wrong with it. You guys, let me know. Do you think that the Angel Reese, should have only worn her jersey if she was going to wear a jersey, or should she have just worn regular clothes? Let me know what you guys think. What else? What else did I say I was going to talk about? Yo, it's crazy. I'm in Michigan, and they campaigning in Michigan. So it's 13 days until the election. In some places, I believe early voting, like obviously you can mail in your vote, but actual in-person early voting is starting in a bunch of places. I don't know where you live. If you're not in the United States and you're not a U.S. citizen, then don't even worry about this. But if you are, make sure that you vote, okay? Whoever you're going to vote for, make sure that you go cast your vote. I'm doing shows in Detroit this weekend, right? And I really hope that Michelle Obama comes to my show, because I know she's supposed to be here on Saturday for Kamala. And I would just love it if she could take a moment out of her campaign schedule and just come to the House of Comedy and come see me perform like that. I would really just love that. So if any of y'all know Michelle Obama and can get this message to her, like, please do, because I would love for her to come to my shows this weekend. She already going to be here for Kamala, and I know those events be like during the day. They asked me, like, do you want to do a show during the day? I was like, no, I don't want to do a show during the day, because I know Michelle has to go talk to the people on behalf of Kamala. So I'm going to wait and do my show at night. And that way Michelle could just hop right over. We'll send a black car for her and everything. So we just want Michelle to be there. So, get this out to them, get this out to Michelle. She can bring Barack if she wants, but that's not mandatory. That'd be cool, because I love when couples be in the house, but it's not mandatory. But if Michelle could just come, you get what I'm saying? Come to that nice Saturday late show, just have a good time. You know what I'm saying? We'll make sure we got a area sectioned off of her. Sit there, laugh. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff. Get one little quick picture after, and then she could be on her way and continue with the campaigning. You know, today they actually are doing a rally, and they said that Eminem is opening up. I don't know. Maybe I'm in Michigan at the right time. But this is what I wanted to say. I think it's been very clear, or I've been very clear, that I am currently an independent voter who will be voting for Kamala Harris. I cannot vote for Donald Trump. And I hear a lot of people saying, and at this point, I could go back and forth between Tim Walz and JD Vance. I don't care about neither one of them. Where are they? Who are they? Right? But as I said in one of my earlier episodes of I'm Reasonable, I said that we've watched enough fictional shows to know that the vice president, unless the president is just a face, like George W., right? We know George W. wasn't really doing a lot of the policy. No shade to George W. He was very charismatic, so they say, right? But we know he wasn't doing a lot of the policy stuff, right? He was just kind of like the face. And he had his father, you know what I'm saying? He had his brother. He had Dick Cheney. He had a lot of people making the decisions, but he was just, you know, but he showed up to the events, right? So I ain't worried about the vice president now more than ever. There are a few presidencies where, in Biden's case, what helped him for me was who he chose as his VP. That's what helped him secure my vote in 2020. Also, I had to vote against my own personal beliefs and knowledge. I had to vote against Donald Trump, right? That's me personally. I often hear people, there's one thing to completely agree with people's policy. I never argue somebody on that. If somebody said, yeah, I don't believe in Roe versus Wade, and he got that overturned, and that's why I'm voting for him, I'd never argue nobody on that, because they believe what they believe, and that is policy, right? That is, those are facts. They not saying nothing that's not true. I disagree with them, but that's just, it is what it is. Just like I'm gonna go vote for who I vote, and they disagree with me, right? This is like not rocket science. But when I hear so many ignorant people, no matter how many times they're corrected, Trump gave us stimulus checks. Trump also gave y'all those PPP loans that they arresting all of y'all for now in 2020. Remember all them PPP loans that got approved? That everybody getting arrested for now. Also, stimulus checks did not come. Y'all acting like they came from his bank account that we never heard of, that we can't never get no proof of. That was the government. It was going to happen regardless of who was in office. That's so stupid. But here's the thing. So many people, and I'm speaking to black people. I'm speaking to black people now. I'm speaking to black Americans right now. And I don't believe that you have to vote for anybody simply because they are the same color as you. Because for years, we have to hope. I mean, for years, we don't have that. For years, there have only been white men running. So there's no way to, like, that doesn't even make sense. I've still been able to choose a viable white man. He don't look like me. I don't think that you have to. Them ladies that I was talking about earlier on the plane, they said great. Them was black women that I completely disagreed with. And the guy that gave up his seat was a white man. So I ain't one of them people that's like, oh, simply because. No. I want to know what you stand for, what you're doing. And I want to know who. See, if I'm not going to gain anything, because I think that that's a reasonable argument. If you truly believe, well, what am I going to gain from voting for this person? All right. So let's say you're not going to gain anything from either one of these parties, let's say you're not going to gain anything. So I then have to ask myself, well, who can cause the most harm? So I have to vote against who's going to cause the most harm. I put this in other terms, and forgive me, I'm about to go domestic violence on y'all. I'd rather be in a house with a husband that ignores the fuck out of me. He don't look at me. He don't talk to me. I'm in the house. I got a place to live. I eat. I got clothes. I'm taken care of very well, but he don't talk to me. He don't look at me. He don't say shit to me. He don't pay me no mind for the most part. I'd rather be in that house than in a house with somebody beating my ass. You want to know why? It causes me more harm for somebody to be physically beating my ass than for him over here to just be ignoring me. I'll go get a hobby. I'll be sexually dissatisfied. I'll be intimately dissatisfied, but I won't have black eyes. Because over there, he giving me black eyes. Y'all understand that? And I know this is one of them messages that got to reach people that aren't really like subscribers, because for the most part, I'm sure the people who subscribe to me understand this so easily. So this got to go beyond whatever. I'm done. Is there anything else on my list? This damn viral video that pissed me off. Y'all saw the viral video. Okay, I'm gonna keep it real quick. Every single day. Okay, so first, let's watch the viral video.
But it's crazy. Like, he had one hand on the. What the? Oh my god!
What happened, babe?
Oh my god! What is he doing? Babe!
Babe, what happened?
Oh shit! I don't know.
Babe,
I got into an accident. Oh my god. Oh my god,
where are
babe.
you?
I'm on the Bell Parkway. This guy just reversed into me. What the hell is going on?
Reversed into you?
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, fuck, I'm shaking.
My god. Babe.
Yeah.
Just stay there. Oh my god.
Fuck, oh my god.
Where on the Bell Parkway?
Oh, holy shit. You know, after that turn?
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh my
babe,
god.
it's okay.
Alright, hold on.
Just...
Hold on, okay? Fuck. What happened? Hold on, babe. Oh, fuck. Wait.
All right, so as you guys saw, a woman's in her car. She's on the phone with, I believe her husband or somebody. I think she's calling him babe or whatever. And they zoom and cut her off, right? Which forces her to stop. If somebody just cuts in front of you, it forces you to stop, right? So now she's surprised, like, oh shoot, not only did they just zoom in front of me, but they also stopped. So she stops abruptly. Right when she think it's over, then they back into her. Not only do they back into her, but now they doing some clown car shit while they in the car switching positions and trying to get out. They all get out, bad actors acting like my neck, my back and my neck. They holding places like they had the acting. And I'm telling you guys, every single day. First of all, I'm so happy that she had a dash cam. You see, as soon as they realized she had a dash cam, they got up out of there. Then somebody posts after this video goes supremely viral. Then people start posting, this same group of people. It's not just one time. This is a scam that they are doing. Just like 10, 15 years ago, the Nigerians were sending letters via email, come and claim $90 billion, but first you got to give us 10,000 and we'll send you back the 90 billion. It's people doing this scam every single day. I see different scams on social media every single day. And all I could think is, wow, if scammers put their energy to good use, if they decided to be good versus bad, this would be such a different world. If you applied all of your tenacity, all of your intelligence, all of this ability to, this would be such a different world. But instead, a group of y'all is waking up. And let me just tell you something. I know we glorify like bank heist movies, right? Like, ooh, Ocean's 11 is so cool. It is. It is. Because they stealing jewels from a big old bank. They stealing money from a corporation. Not that that's okay, but I'm just saying it's. But you just out here targeting your fellow, your neighbor? When I see stuff like that, I'll be very honest with you guys. It brings up the most unreasonable part of me. Because essentially they are just like, their crime is like insurance fraud for the most part, right? But I want them to go to jail for murder. When I saw that video, I said, yep, we see they face 25 to life. Get them out of here. Get them out. I get so unreasonable, you guys. Admittedly so. I see stuff like that and I be like, you could have done anything else in your day. You could have done anything else in your day. And I bet if somebody did this to your mother, your daughter, your sister, your father, your grandma, anybody, you'd be hollering. You could have done anything else. There were a million other choices for you to make today. But you chose to get up out of here and have a rear end collision scam. Judge, good thing I'm not a prosecutor. 15 years, no bail, 100 years. It was just insurance fraud. Yeah, should have thought about that. Nope. Now the lady in the back, now you don't know what that lady you rear-ended her, she could have been pregnant. You don't know what's happening in that car. You don't know what's going on in that woman's life. I gotta go. Here's an Ask Z for you all. So while I was in Philly, I was with my brother. My brother is an engineer and he is building this. He's building a few different apps, and him and I were talking about dating apps. And I told him that he should add a feature where to eliminate catfishing, because I feel like one of the biggest issues on dating apps that people poke fun of, that people make fun of, that people talk about, that people are disheartened by, is that you show up and that's not the person that you feel like you was talking to. So I said he should add a feature, because he was talking about all of these like security measures, right? All of these measures to make sure that all of these measures to eliminate sort of the fuckery, right? And we all know that the fuckery actually serves the app, right? Because dating apps are not here for you to find love. Dating apps, as much as people are like, I don't want hookups, the whole essence of a dating app promotes hookups, because the only way the app makes money, the only way the business makes money is if you return. So if you meet one great person, y'all go off and fall in love and y'all both leave the app and never come back, well, that ain't good for the business. So that's why dating apps ain't really set up for you to succeed, which is why I don't really mess with dating apps. I don't even know why I put really, I don't. And I know people in my life directly who have relationships, good relationships from dating apps, married and everything. And still, I know more people that are dealing with the fuckery of the dating app. So I tell my brother, I was like, okay, so I think that you should add a function, add a feature where when you go out on a date, on the first date with the person, at the beginning of the date, as soon as it starts, y'all both get to take a picture of one another. And then you post that picture on the dating app. You don't got to give a review. You can give a review, but you don't have to. But you post that picture. That way, if I'm clicking on somebody's profile, I don't even have to look at the pictures that they've posted, the best versions of themselves, the edited versions of themselves, maybe not even themselves. I'm going to just go and look at all the pictures that the people that you've been out on a date with posted of you. My brother was like, that's invasive. I'm like, it's also invasive to show up and the person on a date not be the person you think you're talking to. I said the only people that will not have he was like, I don't know, Zainab. Like, I don't know if I would feel comfortable with somebody just taking my picture. I said, but that's the thing. It's not just your picture. You'd also be taking her picture as well. There is equal, there's equal weight here. I said, there's nothing saying that y'all can't look at the picture and be like, oh, okay, wait a second. Let me get my angle so you could take you know what I'm saying? So you could take a better picture of me. Let's make sure we in the right light so that you take a good picture of me. But at least we know what you look like from a person that is not you. He wasn't really buying it, you guys. And I was like, here's the thing. He's like, people aren't going to like that. I said, the only people that aren't going to like that are the people that's catfishing. I said, if you're talking to me and you get all of this and I show up on a date and you take a picture and it's giving this, I don't got no problem. I don't have a problem because he was like, but there's another way around it. You can just say, I'll make a feature where a person can just say, oh, I showed up and they weren't, it was a catfish. I said, here's why that's not going to work. I said, because people can say anything. I said, people can say anything and we just have to choose to believe what people say. I said, but if we have a picture, I said, here's the reason why I don't choose what people say, especially when it comes to their emotions, especially when it comes to dating. How many times has a woman been assaulted and the guy says, I don't know what she's talking about. I ain't assault her. How many times has a woman said she's been assaulted and she never been assaulted? Those are just words. But then when we have proof, what? Once we saw the Cassie video, what happened? Changed everybody's opinion, right? So if we see the picture, we know if you catfishing or not. So that removes the error. It removes the ability for somebody to lie on you. It removes the ability for somebody to show up to a date with you. You look how you look. You not catfishing, but you don't like them. The date don't go that well. You don't like them. You don't never call them back. And so then they say, oh, he a catfish anyway. Ladies, don't go out with him. Guys, don't go out with her. She a catfish anyway. Blah, 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 blah. Nah, here go the picture right here. This person done been on 9 dates and I see 9 photos. Oh, these photos look pretty much the same. That person, they not, I don't know if they a terrible person. I don't know if I'm gonna like their personality. I don't know if I'm gonna be attracted to their pheromones and stuff. But at least I know they look like what they say they look like. So what do y'all think? Would y'all go on an app, a dating app, where the requirement on the first date is you have to take a picture of one another, almost like a driver's license picture, almost like a passport picture? It don't got to be a picture where y'all hugged up. It's just a picture to verify this person is not a catfish. And then they post that on your profile. What y'all think? Hashtag it in the comments with Ask Z. Let me know what y'all think. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson. Until next week, y'all stay reasonable, okay? Bye.